There's been a lot of talk in this campaign. In fact, every candidate is promising to fight for you. I'm going to be that tough guy up in DC that'll put the liberals in their place. And that sounds good. But don't believe them, don't believe me. Look at what we have done. I want to share with you just a couple of highlighted stories about how I have proven that I am a fierce, ferocious conservative fighter. In 2015, I had been in the State House for one full session. And in 2015, a great movement conservative, a fellow named Scott Turner, who now works for President Trump as one of his senior aides. He ran for Speaker of the House against very liberal Joe Straus, who was the sitting Speaker, who had originally been elected in 2009 with 65 Democratic votes and 11 Republican votes. And Scott was a great choice, but it did look like Straus was going to get the votes to be reelected because every Democrat was going to vote for him, and he had 30 or so cronies that he had fed a lot of candy to, a lot of campaign cash. So he had the votes. But you know what I was taught when I was little? There's never a wrong time to do the right thing. And I knew what was going to happen in 2015. They were going to punish me. The powers that be, the Speaker and his chairman, were going to make sure that none of my legislation passed, that I would be ostracized, that they would shun me politically, professionally, personally, socially, that they would make sure that I didn't get campaign support. You know what? Whatever. I don't work for them, never have. I worked for, at that time, 170,000 North Texans. And I told them that I would always vote for the most conservative speaker, the most conservative choice for that position. And I did. I was one of only 19 members of a 150-member body that stood up and did the right thing and voted for Scott Turner. So that's example number one. Example number two, 2017, when the Dallas City Council decided to remove that beautiful statue of Robert E. Lee. That was a cowardly move to the cancel culture. Well, I stood up and said that was wrong, while most Republicans ran for the hills. And I took every TV interview and radio interview request, and print media for that matter as well. And I didn't back down. And I told them exactly why. This is about our history, about knowing our backstory, about celebrating not the Confederacy, but our shared history, our backstory. The fact that before the Civil War, the United States was not the greatest country history ever known. But after, 700,000 lives were lost and people were freed from bondage. We united, we became the greatest country history's ever known. And I would argue, on balance, Robert E. Lee's life was one of a great American. He was a hero in 1848, in the Mexican-American War, the commandant of West Point, and even after the Civil War, he preached about unity and unification. So it was the right move to make. And now, of course, the cancel culture's out to destroy more of our history. But I stood my ground then. The very first bill I filed in the Texas Senate was the Texas Historical Protection Act, Senate Bill 226. And I spoke for a very similar bill when it hit the Senate floor. One of only 3 Republican senators to do so. And we did pass it out of the Senate. It died in the House. And then the last example, of which there's hundreds, incidentally. And if you want to know more, feel free to give me a call. My cell phone number is 214-507-4861. That has been my cell number for 25 years. It rings in my back pocket. Last one I want to talk to you about is a House race over in Central Texas. It's House District 59 in the State House. And the candidate over there, the challenger, is a gal named Shelby Slauson. Highly talented, smart, movement conservative. I befriended her and asked her to run for the office. You know why? Because the current state rep over there is a fellow named J.D. Sheffield, the most liberal Republican in Texas. He voted with all the Democrats in 2017 when we banned sanctuary cities. We put real teeth in that bill. It was Amendment number 9. There were only 9 Republicans that voted with all 55 Democrats. He was one of those. 81 Republicans voted for the toughest sanctuary cities ban in the country. But you know what that guy does? Even though he voted with all the Democrats to try and kill this great piece of legislation, he now brags about its passage. That's hypocritical. You know what's more dangerous than a liberal Democrat? A liberal Democrat that's pretending to be a Republican. And he has a slew of horrible votes. In 2013, Wendy Davis tried to kill, she killed it temporarily, House Bill 2, the omnibus pro-life bill. Well, when we went back into special session, the Democrats in the House filed about 28 amendments to weaken or cripple the bill. That guy, J.D. Sheffield, voted with all the Democrats 12 different times on that. He was the only Republican to do that, other than Sarah Davis, and she's at least openly pro-choice. She'll tell you, not hide in the shadows. That's what Sheffield does, and that's why a guy like him is very dangerous. So for the last year, I have worked tirelessly with Ms. Slauson to get her elected. I don't know many other people that do that, but we have. She never had to hire a political consultant because I was helping her. I've never had to hire a political consultant. If you're a fairly typical Republican primary voter, you just share with what's what's in your heart and what's on your mind. She's going to win that race, despite nearly $2 million being spent against her. She got 46% of the vote in a three-way race in March. And right now, as we're filming this, she's in early voting in the last couple days. This is when we're filming this on July 8th. By the time most of you see this, it'll be after the election. And I hope and pray, and I'm fairly confident she's going to win, and she's going to win big. That's the kind of fighter we need, because you know what? Nobody in Congressional District 4 can vote for Ms. Lawson. But after she wins, she can vote for you. And that's what we're really talking about here, is fighting on all levels of government. That's why Ted Cruz is so impressive. Senator Ted Cruz doesn't worry just about his own reelection. He is a movement conservative. He wants other conservatives to succeed and legislate and to protect you, not only at the federal level, but at the state level and the local level. Senator Ted Cruz has endorsed me in this race specifically because of that. And I share his passion, and I have endorsed in other races and obviously worked tirelessly in them as well. And I'll continue to do that as your U.S. Congressman, because we need great conservatives to save this country on all levels. President Trump, Senator Cruz, myself, we can't do that alone. We all need reinforcements. So thank you so much for everything that you do for our party, our cause, and our state, and our country. I would humbly ask for your support, and I'd be honored to have it, your support and your vote on August 8th in Sulphur Springs when we select our new congressman for Congressional District 4. God bless you, and God bless Texas.
I'm Pat Fallon, and I approve this message.